with it. I've had problems with it. Yeah, exactly, because people are waiting. Here we go. Looks like it's, yes, now the world gets to see me scratch my head. Okay, great. Truly awesome. Got it. Okay, we've got Koch is here. And he's become like the first one in half the time now. Get in, get out. Someone named Justin, I'll see it was Justin Thomas. Swain's here. Okay. Matson, of course, is here. Austin is here. Thomas, what's that? Yeah, Simmons. Interesting. All the lawyers are here. I'll probably repeat myself for a few moments, but good morning. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to the Temple Municipal Court. Audio connects at different rates for different people, but I do want to apologize for the slight delay. I seem to be waiting on technology a little bit more than usual today, and there was some difficulty getting connected to the live feed, which we were required to do in order to have the convenience of being online. But anyway, good morning. My name is Judge Person. I do welcome everybody to court, and this is the Temple Municipal Court. You're here because you've been scheduled for a hearing. We'll conduct that hearing today. There are two dockets that we're working through. They are both, excuse me, I accidentally, sorry. They are both dockets that are, we'll complete them. One is a pretrial docket, which I'm gonna go ahead and start. And Mr. Matson, if you could just unmute for a moment before I let you begin with your docket. I want you to unmute and just say your name and tell everybody who you are, please.
Hey everyone, I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Thank you. Mr. Matson, I'm starting your docket and we're beginning with the Martin, I'm going to try to say it, Martin Chagola case, and Attorney Stone is here for that case. And I'm going to just go ahead and let you gentlemen get going on that matter. So y'all go ahead. And those remaining, I just want to let you know that a couple of things so that you understand the options that you have available with the court. I can't give legal advice. You can hire an attorney if you wish to do so. If that's an issue and you want to do that, you do that before your plea is accepted. If you're at that stage, because everybody's kind of at varying stages right now, if you're at the stage of a plea has not yet been entered on the case, you have the right to have an attorney advise you. What I can do is give you a layout of how things move through a municipal court. What I can't do is apply the law to your case and talk to you about all the implications of that. So that's what you do with someone that you hire to represent you. If you want a recess and it applies to your situation, let me know if you are trying to do that, and I'll let you know if that's possible. It often is, but not always. It kind of depends on where we are. Okay, so one thing I want to highlight, though, is that when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for making an accusation. And that is what a ticket is. It's an accusation. And when you give a plea, you're giving an answer, a response to the accusation. There are three options for pleading: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. Guilty means I did this. I'm not contesting it. No contest means I'm not contesting it, but I want to move forward with sentencing. And not guilty is just signaling to the court, I disagree. I want a trial because I want the case to be proven by the state. The state ultimately would have the burden of proof at trial. What that means is that if you contest it, they are on notice that it's time to get their case ready for court. And we schedule a pretrial, That docket's meeting this morning, as well as what I call my docket. That's all my docket, but as well as the open docket. And I will meet with folks who are not contesting the matter, and we'll just see where we are with regard to your case. Okay, now, as I said, it's an accusation, and those are the three options for pleading. Guilty or no contest come forward through sentencing. Not guilty heads to trial. We don't know if sentencing would happen, okay? If you plead guilty or no contest, if you plead not guilty, there's an online pretrial today. There's a final pretrial here in the courtroom. You come to court. If the case isn't resolved today, we just go ahead and schedule that proceeding, and we come here. It's not the trial, but it is the date that we're going to look at all the trial matters. We're looking at whether, we have any motions that need to be heard and so forth. Today, what we're really doing is just triaging and seeing, are we moving toward trial, or are we moving toward a resolution of some kind? On guilty or no contest, I'm working towards sentencing. And normally you're found guilty, it goes on your record, and you pay the fines and costs. Now, fines and costs are subject to income information that you need to provide under oath. Most people provided it. I don't really see anyone who didn't. I'm asking for that information on contested cases to schedule a bond, on uncontested cases to look at sentencing. So I use everything. I try to be really efficient with how we collect information so that you're not repeating the information so many times that it doesn't make sense, right? So I do ask for that information from both eventualities. Okay. If you've pled guilty or no contest, I'm looking at it in connection with sentencing. That's individual from person to person. So that's how I treat that information. Now, as far as having it go on your record, there are still 4 ways to keep it off your record at the beginning of the case, okay? And I'm going to tell you what they are, and then I'm going to tell you how they work, because people think about these things in different ways. We all have different, some people think in a linear way and some people don't. So I just try to hit it on every front. So compliance dismissals, driver safety course options, deferred dispositions, and team court are all ways to keep the item off of your record in terms of a conviction. Compliance dismissals are things that under the law can be brought up to date and dismissed. The law will specify what you have to do in order to get that. The law also says the judge shall. So that means that I can let you know without giving you legal advice whether you're qualified, okay? And if you're not, if it looks like you could get qualified, I'll try to work with you on that, and I'll just tell you about those. An example would be a blinker that's out. You're cited for the equipment being broken. You fix the equipment, you bring the proof of that to court, and the case gets dismissed from your record. The driving safety course option is actually another way to get the case off your record. That is for moving violations. And that's kind of a good one in the respect of, let me just talk about money for a minute. It's not anyone's favorite topic, but with what I do, I talk about it a lot. So, with every ticket, you've got a court cost and a fine. If you call the clerk, they're going to give you the whole number. They're not going to break it down, because there's actually many, many ways to break that down. And it would bore you if I went into all of them, because it's not exciting. But what is important in terms of what we're talking about right now is that every ticket has a whole number, but in the driving safety course option, you only pay the court costs. There are court costs and fines. So the court costs set by the legislature get paid in the driver safety course option. The fine goes on hold. And if you complete your course, complete your driving record, turn it in on time, you get your case dismissed from your record. The fine on hold gets waived. You don't pay it. It's cheaper to do all of that, to pay the court costs, pay for your class, pay for your record, turn it all in, get your case, your moving violation dismissed, get your fine waived. It's less expensive, even though you pay for those other things. You actually save about $100 in most tickets. And the reason we do that is because moving violations are a sign of risk. the course actually reduces the risk. That's actually an evidence-based statement. And so we incentivize sitting through that class because most people wouldn't opt into that class just on purpose. They would opt in for a specific reason. Namely, they got a ticket which moved them into a higher risk for death and dismemberment on the Texas roadways. Texas is the most dangerous state to drive in America. Unfortunately, we have that distinction. So the course is designed to address that issue. The highest risk group people are people who have received a citation. Okay, I'm going to pause for a moment before I go to the third option, and I'm going to ask Mr. Matson and Mr. Stone to just unmute. This is the Martin Chagola case. Could you all tell me where we are with regard to this matter?
We're going to go ahead and set for final, Your Honor, and Mr. Stone's going to take it off and back to his client.
Okay, so Mr. Stone, we're scheduling that for September 7th at 1 o'clock. Unless the case is fully resolved on that date, I would expect everyone to be present in the courtroom. Do you have any questions?
No, you're wrong. I think we've got an offer. I think it'll be resolved well ahead of time.
Okay, that would be great, but if not, we're here. Okay.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
Of course. Thank you for asking.
Thank you, Judge. Take care.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. And you too. Mr. Swain, I'm moving you forward to the pretrial room. And so regarding the third option, which is called a deferred disposition, that option, let me talk to you a little bit about what that is. It's a little different from the other options. The other two, I'm sort of walking you through them. I'm saying, hey, you're eligible, you want to do it. That's kind of what that's going to look like. With a deferred, the way that looks is you're supposed to ask me. Now, I don't even need to pull this. I doubt very many people woke up this morning and thought, I'm thinking about how a deferred disposition works. So maybe a lawyer would, but they probably would rather think about something else. And maybe you did, and maybe you didn't. If you read the website, you might be thinking about it, but I didn't expect that everybody would. So let me just explain what that is. It's really pretty simple. Deferred means delay. Disposition means to finish it, to make it final. So I delay making your case final. Okay, I accept your plea. I put an order in place that lists the things that you're going to do to get a dismissal. It's in writing. It's a guarantee. You know what it looks like because you sign it too. What it says is if you do these things listed, the judge signs the bottom, that would be me, saying, I will dismiss your ticket. Okay, like I can't come back and go, nah, I changed my mind. Okay. So it's a way to know the outcome. It's a way to know, hey, what do I have to do to get a disposition where it's dismissed and it's not on my record? It's very helpful where the other two options don't work, right? Because the other two options save you money and a deferred doesn't always do that. But it's kind of there like another way if the first two ways don't work, okay? So you either have something that can't be dismissed through a compliance, or you miss the compliance for whatever reason, or you missed your option, or you've already done a driving safety course. Deferred dispositions are kind of a grab. It's a net for the other kinds of things. Okay, everybody with me so far? Everyone awake? Okay. So the way a deferred disposition works, and it's, if you've ever been in like a higher level court, if you've been over there at county or district and you've watched something happening, maybe you went with a friend or whatever, if you're watching and you see a deferred there, it's going to look different because this is a Class C court, and most of us represent ourselves in Class C court. That's just a reality, okay? And I like it when the law reflects reality a little bit. So the reality is we can ask the judge for a deferred in a Class C in the Class C court. In the higher level courts, you can't. You have to ask the prosecutor, get their permission, and then bring it to the judge to see if the judge agrees. In a Class C court, you just walk in, guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. That's how you do it. A plea of guilty or no contest and a request for a deferred means that the judge should consider it each and every time he or she is asked. Everybody with me so far? I see some nods. Anyone not? Okay, so guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. Just remember the word deferred if you could. There are deferred adjudications, there's deferred the law can be complicated, but this is actually very simple. I'd like a deferred. And that means the judge says, let me look at your case. Let me look at your situation. Let me decide now. And I'll make that decision. Now, if I tell you, yes, we do it. If I tell you no, I tell you why, but I'm not going to debate it with you. Okay. But I mean, I'm transparent about things. If I say no to something, I'll explain what my reasoning is and I'll give you an opportunity to talk to me. But normally I'm very open always to those requests. So that's the third way to gain a dismissal. And the burden is what we call the burden is on you to make that request of me. If you don't, I don't know. If you did it on your form, because it's on there, I see it. If you didn't, and now you're thinking about it, talk to me about it, okay? Because it's not too late unless we've already entered a disposition. Once I enter a disposition, you've waived that option, okay? And the law says I'm supposed to assume you understood all this before you came in today. I just don't think it's probably true. So I try to explain it, lay it out for people. Okay, so that's number 3. Remember I said 4. The fourth one is teen court. If you're eligible for teen court, I'll be trying to push you into it to see if it's a fit. Okay, so that's really the 101 of how things move through municipal court. Once you have a sentence, you know, you're expected to follow your court order. And if you don't, you're subject to a warrant. Therefore, what I'm trying to let you know is, please, if you find that I've made an order and yeah, today you said yes, and then you get down the road and you can't do it, the duty that you have is to let the court know and try to resolve it. So that means what that looks like is coming in the door and saying to a clerk, I'm scheduled to make a payment, or I have a class due, or community services due, or I'm supposed to turn in a record, whatever it is, and I can't do it. And here's why. And this is how I think I could get there, or I don't think I can get there. You tell us and we work with you. If you don't tell us, we have no way to work with you. We start sending you letters and notices and saying, hey, are we mistaken? What's the deal? That's basically what our letters say. Okay, they say it in a legal way, but we're required to try to talk to you about it. If you don't talk to us about it, we don't know anything. So you have to think about it just briefly from my perspective as the judge of the court. I'm saying, please come talk to me, and a person is just, there's nothing, it's empty chair. And now I'm making a decision based on just what I have. I do the best I can. I look at your old information. I look at anything I can find. But at some point, I'm supposed to be moving that forward. And that starts looking like a warrant. Warrants cost money. They don't really help you. There's no reason to have one. In a Class C court, 99% of the time, there's just no reason for jail time. It's not really what this is about here. There's safety issues, traffic, low-level criminal offenses that are meaningful for the folks who they impact. But normally we can get things resolved. I just don't have anything to work with if you don't show up. So if you bite off on something that you find you can't do, you have a duty to let me know. Okay. And it will always be better if I know what's going on than if you blow it off. And I'm saying that to the choir because you're here today. Like, there are a number of people scheduled today who aren't here. So I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but you know, if you ever fall off of that, and I do have people here today who've had warrants or are actively in a warrant, you don't need to do that. Okay. It's completely your option. All right. I mean, I'll do it if that's what you're going to do, but I'd rather not. Okay. Enough said. I'm going to go ahead and start, and I'll try to say your name right. President Simmons, can you unmute and talk to me? And you're on a laptop. I see that. I can't see you on the screen, and it would be an improvement. Communicating is frankly hard enough. Can you get it on the screen?
I'm trying to.
Yes, ma'am. How are you today while we're waiting?
So, can you see me?
No, but go ahead and let me know. You're 17, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, tell me your date of birth, please.
January 28, 2005. Mama, shut up.
Mom is available, and that's good news, but it's her, and she's welcome. But I will tell you that this is your proceeding. So, Mom, just let me ask you a quick question, too. Let me just hear from you both. First, let me give you a rundown. I've got two cases, all from the same date of stop, which is June 29th, 2022. One is for violation of a license restriction B. The other is for no insurance. And the restriction B charge is $181 if you pay it. The insurance charge is $281 if you pay it. I did receive a no contest plea on both cases. Ms. Simmons, Presene, am I saying that correctly? Let's just start.
No, it's Triazane.
Priazane. Okay, is that better?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Priazane, let me ask you, the no contest plea on both charges. First of all, do you understand the pleading options of guilty, not guilty, and no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and is it your plea to plead no contest to both of these charges today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then my first real question then regarding that is, was the vehicle insured at the time it stopped?
No, ma'am. I
Okay.
wasn't stopped. Oh, what's the car you driving insured? No. Oh, okay. No, ma'am.
Okay, and is it now insured?
No.
Okay, and then as to the license restriction, have you removed that restriction?
Not yet, because of her, get her DPS is further out to August.
Yes, ma'am, they sure are. Do y'all have an appointment?
August the 4th.
Okay. Okay, hold on just a moment. Hold that thought. I don't know if y'all can see the screen. I can't see you, so I'm really not sure. But I need to ask the two attorneys that just came back in the room, are we talking about the Tyler Amiara case first or the Cynthia Vasquez Dominguez case? Which one?
We can talk about Amira first, Your Honor.
Okay, where are we with regard to the Amiara case?
Mr. Swain is going to take an offer back to his client, so we'll go ahead and set for final.
Okay, so that's at 1 o'clock on September 7th, and we'll go ahead and get that set up. And then with regard to Vasquez Dominguez, where are we with regard to that case?
That case is going to be in the same boat, Your Honor.
Okay, so again, we're just going to schedule those the same date, Mr. Swain, so that you're not duplicating your energies. And as you know, because you've been here before, just any agreements are best agreed to prior to that date if you want to save the drive. Okay?
Yes, of course.
Okay. All right. You're good to go, Mr. Swain. And Mr. Mattson, I'm going to continue to move forward with you, but I need to call the room, so to speak, because I think we have some people who are defaulting into they didn't want to do a pretrial. Okay, and they're going to head, through that warrant process. Jeremy Dixon.
Sure, Your Honor.
Yes. Jeremy Dixon, do you happen to be here? Okay. Blake Payne, do you happen to be here? Abel Rivas Duran, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Okay, I didn't understand the name because I was looking for Duran. So that's one reason I call it. So Mr. Mattson, he is here. Let me go ahead and let you gentlemen move over to the pretrial room, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. On Mr. Payne, is Mr. Magana not here?
No, he is not.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Gets the same treatment. So moving forward, Mr. Rivas Duran, let me send y'all over to that pretrial room and then I'll look for y'all to come back. Thank you, sir. Great. And just to finish that whole line of things, Destiny Soydam. Latoya Thomas. Okay, now, anyway, getting back to this, Ms. Simmons.
Yes, ma'am.
So one thing that we can do, and I did receive your pleas, and I did receive your request for teen court. I think what we could do is schedule you out for that license restriction removal, since you are scheduled with DPS already within the next 2 weeks. So 2 weeks from today is going to be, believe it or not, I can't believe the summer, August 16th. And what I will say is I'm going to reset you. And, you know, if you can bring that restriction removal to the court by that date, then that case can just be dismissed with, I believe is it a $10 dismissal fee? I'm checking on that. And then on the other matter, the insurance charge, we can do teen court. There's a $20 teen court fee. Can that fee get paid today in cash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And y'all are going to bring it up here and sign all your paperwork, including the extension on the other case. And
Okay.
then on the other matter, the insurance case, what I would say for teen court is there is I'm going to ask that insurance be provided within 30 days.
Okay.
And a 3-page essay.
A what?
A 3-page essay.
Okay.
And so that she will write.
Okay. Thank you. You gotta come back here. She's not finished. Come here. Come back. No, not good. This is not my fault. Come here. I'm gonna help you.
I understand that it's not in a way your fault, Miss Simmons,
Okay.
young lady.
Come back over here so we can finish the process.
Okay, she can finish talking. Let her talk.
I'm not finished talking.
I was talking to my mother to let you.
I understand, but you're in court. And so that's just not appropriate. That's not appropriate for y'all
I
to
was
have.
telling my mama to
Hey.
stop talking.
Okay, listen, I'm going to mute you for a minute because the idea that you're going to get on court, this is court, and have an argument for all of us to hear is not what we do. So you need to refrain, both of you. Okay. Now I'm going to unmute and ask if you really want to do teen court. Let me tell you something before I ask you that question. While I understand that you feel that it is not your fault, at 17, you are an adult in the state of Texas. When you choose to drive a car, which you chose to do, whether somebody told you to or not, you weren't forced to drive the car. No one made you drive the car. And you drove the car without insurance. Now, there may be equities in your favor that say, you know, it may not have been as fair as things could have been. That's why we have teen court. Okay. The full effect of your case would be to pay $281, have it go on your record, and potentially trigger some sort of suspension to your license. And if mom doesn't have insurance and you choose to drive the vehicle, that could happen to you. As a driver, you're supposed to know that. Okay. What I'm trying to do is soften that blow. If you don't want to do that, we don't have to. If you don't want teen court, we might as well call it a day today because it's a waste of your time. It's a waste of my time, but hey, I work here. $20 in an essay and your mother gets the insurance up to date, or a $281 fine, it goes on your record and you suffer the consequences to your license. Now I'm unmuting you. Can y'all refrain from having an argument in court? Because if you're here, you would get arrested. Please unmute.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna do the thing that you started off
I need to hear
with
from
the
her.
essay and all that.
We're going to
I
do the
need to-
essay.
I need to hear from you.
We're going to do the essay.
You're asking to do the essay, and if I approve
Yes,
it, you can. Let's get really clear about that. It's a permission. There is a mother may I. That's just how it works.
Okay, you misunderstood me to begin with, and you just went.
No, ma'am, I heard an
And then-
argument and I stopped it.
We
If you
wasn't
want to argue, okay, I'm going to stop you now. I'll take you up in just a moment. Mr. Matson, let's get your other person over. Y'all need to learn how to conduct yourself. Okay. With the Rivas Duran case, where are we?
Your Honor, I have agreed to reduce Mr. Rivas Duran's fine to $100 in exchange for a plea of no contest. And he is curious about his eligibility for community service.
Okay, hold on just a moment. Let me look at the court costs. The court costs are $76. If I accept your reduction, it would be $176.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, give me a moment because I don't look at the payment applications until we're at this point. So actually, I mean, he's not eligible for community service. I can do a payment plan.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. Do you need more than 30 days to make payment, Mr. Rivas Duran?
30 days should be okay.
Okay. Mr. Matson, I went ahead and did that reduction on you. So you
Thank
don't
you,
need
Your
to, you don't need to send it over. I just wanted to be able to give him a total. So 30 days to pay. So Mr. Rivas Duran, can I send a 30 days to pay payment plan to you by email? Have you print it, sign it, and return it today?
Yes, I can do that.
If you do that, then that's the court order and you have 30 days. If you run into issues getting that done, a fee gets added and you'll need to contact the court for an additional development, but otherwise it should be good to go.
Got it. Perfect.
You have any questions?
It'll just be sent to my email. You guys have my email, right?
Yeah, and we're going to use the email that we used to set up the meeting. Will that work?
Okay, perfect. Yes.
Okay, you should expect that this morning.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Bye-bye. Mr. Matson, I have called basically the hall for your other folks. They are not here. You are free to go. Oh,
Thank you,
I'm
Your
sorry. Wait. Whoa. I'm wrong. I am wrong about that. Miss Thomas is here.
Okay.
I apologize, Miss Thomas. Didn't mean to ignore you. I certainly wasn't trying to do that. Let me send you over, ma'am, to that meeting. Thank you. It's going to do it automatically, and then you'll come back after y'all speak. I weren't sure to say anything, and I misunderstood. Okay, my apologies to everyone on that. Okay, because I thought she wasn't here. Okay, I'm going to try one more time with the Simmons case, but frankly, I'm just not sure it's going to be a good one for teen court. If we can't even have a decent conversation without y'all arguing or someone shouting at me, and don't tell me I misunderstood. It's my courtroom. I know how this works, and I've been doing it for 20 years.
I understand that.
There's really one question. And the
Yes, ma'am.
question is not for mom, although I appreciate mom being here, frankly.
That's what I was telling her.
Yeah, I appreciate mom being here, frankly, because the issue, is convoluted by the fact that it was probably the family vehicle. And, she either didn't realize it was uninsured or felt like she had to do something for the family. I'm not agreeing that we should do that, but I know that that happens. Okay. And that's one of the reasons we have a teen court program. But it does require that you do things to gain that dismissal. I'm starting out with $462 that could be owed. And what I'm offering to do is dismiss one that's going to maybe have a $10 fee, dismiss the other on $20, and give you something free to do instead of tacking a bunch of things onto you. So it's really like, do you want to do the things that the law requires and pay $30 and get the cases removed, or pay $462 and have it affect your record? It's pretty simple. I think it's a generous approach. But I mean, these kinds of things, it's like deferred. They require cooperation. And if we can't even have a conversation with cooperation, then, it won't be a good fit.
You wasn't talking to me.
I am
were talking
talking to you. I am
No,
talking.
you
I
was
am talking to you. No, ma'am. I am
See,
talking.
You're misunderstanding me. You're not talking.
Yeah, the life is going to treat you that way. It's a courtroom. I'm not your friend. I'm muting you because it's not appropriate to talk to me this way. It's not appropriate to conduct yourself this way. I'm going to say that y'all need to come to the court. Ma'am, quit unmuting yourself okay, I'm removing you from the meeting. Come to the court. You can come to the window. We'll handle it there. I don't even know. Let's see. Just moving forward. Justin Thomas, let's converse, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
How are you today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you just
Okay,
fine.
good. How
Are you
doing this
able to
morning?
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear, Your Honor.
So we have a lot of things that have sort of happened. Let me give you a rundown. This has warrants. They're called capiases because it's a warrant for what we call non-completion of a court order.
Right.
You're here. I'm glad. I'm going to work with you. Some things get set in there that I'm just going to try to work with. Okay. We rescheduled you from a previous hearing, and it doesn't matter the reasons, but I remember now. You had an emergency, and so I said, yeah, definitely let him reschedule because I definitely wanted to talk to you. I gave you community service. Everything was due July 23rd. Let's see, we didn't get those hours. There's a request now for community service. We've already done that.
Was that yes, I remember that.
I don't mind trying again, but I really need to see what's the issue with getting this dealt with.
My issue with before was that I was on the cusp of homelessness, and when I lost my job, I was put out again. And then the pandemic hit. I mean, this was all pre-pandemic. I mean, it's been years,
Yeah.
I've been homeless, and just recently, my family has let me back in to help me out, help me get back on my feet. I'm trying to get everything squared away. I've just started working again. It's great. I do really intend on completing it this time.
Okay.
It was rough before. It was rough.
Okay.
I was basically out there on my own and dealing with a lot that I was in over my head. So
Yeah, at your age too. So you're with family now.
I'm with family now, yes, and it's going wonderful.
Thank goodness for that. Where are you working?
I'm doing online work. It was just much easier for me to get work online. I do digital media marketing.
Okay, is that like your own business or is that?
It is, yes. It's something I've started to do on my own.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There's nothing really steady then, right? In terms of income, it's not a steady thing, right?
No, it's something I'm trying to get going on my own though, yes.
You've got a cell phone, part of a water bill, and you're paying toward food. Is that
Right, yes,
okay?
yes.
All right, I can go ahead and give you community service. It's going to look a little different from last time,
Of
and
course.
because fees and things got added. And the hold on the license, I think I have one. I'm going to ask the clerk to just double check me on that. That's going to be there till we get this done.
Okay.
But it comes to 43 hours, and right now I'm going to give you till the 27th of September. And I'm going to recall any warrant activity
Thank you, Your Honor.
today, but I need a signature on the document that says, yeah, I'm going to do community service. And so normally we ask you to come do that. Now you're in Waco. So I can just email. Do we need a signature? Do we have a signature from last time on this community service? Let me look at, if I already have it, I can just adopt it.
Okay.
Okay. If I don't, then I'm going to need to get it today.
Of course, yeah. And if I need to come out there, if you need to email it, whatever it is.
Right. Is it an Omni though? I mean, sorry. Yeah, that's okay. Just print it and let me redate it. Okay, so I'll readopt that signature. I don't need it. What I do need is just to get those hours. If you,
Right.
for example, turn them in 2 weeks, let's say you turn them in 2 weeks. If you turn them in 2 weeks, I mean, that's when I release your license.
Okay.
Now I'm going to re-email the information about how to do it. Okay. First of all, because my list and my rules have changed since 20
Well,
years.
I'm sure it's changed in the 3
Yeah.
to 4 years since I last did it. And I remember putting in a decent amount of hours, but I just lost all the paperwork and didn't
Okay.
care, whatever. I was just, you
Yep.
know how it goes. So
I actually do. No, I do see that happen. I think I understand it. So here's what I want to tell you. It's got to be a nonprofit. Please verify that before you go off and do it somewhere and waste your time.
right.
Nonprofits under Texas or federal law, I don't care, but we are going to have to verify that it's a nonprofit. So you should verify it before you do it. Okay. But any nonprofit. I have a list and I'll send you a list. One, it gives you an idea of what kinds of things. They're all local, so it may not particularly help you directly. But two, the instructions that come with that explain to you all of the things I'm telling you right now. I put it in writing. And then you'll have a list, a timesheet to keep track of your hours. Make sure we can reach the entity where you do the work. You don't have to go to just one. You can break it up as you choose. It's really up to you to get that done. And I am just looking, and the signatures aren't the same because you did electronic signature on your income stuff. But so let me ask you, does this look like
That is, yes, that's mine.
All right. So I'm going to redate that and just make a note. And then we're going to move forward. That form didn't change because it's whatever. It doesn't need to. It's a liability thing. Okay. So we'll email everything to you and then just get it done. If you cannot get it done, you need to contact the court on or before your due date so that you don't go back to warrant. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Do you have any questions?
I don't. May I take my leave?
You may. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Too. Glad you finally got here. We'll work with you. Okay.
Right. Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. Miss Austin, good morning. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Good morning.
Glad to hear that. I just reviewed your case this morning. A couple of things. I just want to give you kind of a rundown. I did receive a plea of no contest on the speeding charge, which dates from July 3rd, 2022. If you paid that ticket, the fines and costs right now are set at $254. I reviewed your income information. I don't mind a payment plan, but I have some concerns. You do qualify for me to order community service. If you would like to shift your request to community service, I would approve it. I am willing to approve a payment plan as low as $25 a month, but I don't want to set you up to default into something that will cause you harm. So I just need to hear from you. you know, a lot of times people give me income information and they give me like these nice whole round numbers and their bills are nice whole round numbers. And I understand that to be estimates. So I don't always understand. I get a picture, but I don't always understand fully what's going to be the best for you. And so I'm glad you logged in so that I can understand and hear from you what will work best.
So I have a question. Will it still go on my record if I take community service?
Not if you're asking for a deferral. And in this particular case, it's one that I would approve with that request. Is that your request at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll grant your deferred request. But the fact of community service doesn't change the deferral, okay? That's based on something different, okay? The ability to pay is a different issue, but it does connect in one critical way. If we do a payment plan, I can do a reduction and I could probably get you down to, I have to look, but the only issue with the deferred and having difficulty making payments is that I can do 3 payments and I can sort of spread it out a little bit. I can talk to you about, they're probably going to be about $50 a month. So you are indigent and I can actually, instead of that, I could order community service and it would be 14 hours. I could give you 60 days to get that done with, you know, whatever you've got going on. And, you know, you would do it in your own community. So really, again, I'm just back to the same question, which is going to work best for you?
I would like to do the community service as long as if it's not going to go on my record, that'd be fine.
Yeah, no, that doesn't really, you know, being unable to make payment doesn't isn't a reason to ding your record. You know, the issue is going to be just complying with the law and just learning from the mistake. So I'll grant the deferred request. I will order payment through community service. That will be part of your deferred. It will be 14 hours. It will be due by September 27th. And your deferral is going to be up until November 29th. And mainly no tickets during that time. Keep your address current. Don't get warrants. Get your community service turned in on time and you get a dismissal. I can email the information to you over there because you're not over on this side of the county. If you can print it and email it, sign it and email it back to me. Can you do that this morning?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll email everything, including the community service information, you know, how to get that done. I think you heard me talking to the young man before you, but just you might or might not have been fully attentive because it wasn't your case. So any nonprofit in the community,
Excuse
okay?
me.
Yes, Gesundheit. Any nonprofit in the community, okay? Make sure that they are certified nonprofit by Texas law or federal law or both. Do it hour for hour because I've already given you triple credit up front. Read the rules before you get started. Call the clerk if you have questions. Email them if you're having trouble getting through or getting an answer. And then get those turned in on time. Remain ticket free. That's the big one. And don't fail to communicate with the court in a timely manner. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll email that to you this morning. We want to get it back from you really as soon as possible, but let's say by 3.
Okay, I'll do it as soon as I get to work.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, then, do you have any questions right now?
No, ma'am.
Okay, when you get your paperwork in, if you have questions, you can email back those questions. If the clerk can't answer the questions, they can get me a question that they're not allowed to answer. And I will make sure that you get an answer back to that email. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Miss Austin. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.
Mr. Matson, I know that you and Miss Thomas were talking. Let me get that file pulled. There we go. We had, I think, several matters. I didn't look at this one yet. I think they're all scheduled for today's pretrial. Okay, so I'll let you tell me how we're taking this. What's first? Just unmute.
On all of them, Your Honor, we're going to go ahead and set for final while she considers the offer that has been extended.
Okay, that's fine. Time sometimes is what we need. So we're scheduling that for September 7th at 1. We would have to have paperwork that basically resolves everything prior to that date in order to cancel that date. Okay, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, ma'am. So is that gonna be like the bench trial?
No, it's not the trial because I don't know, the case might go away because there's an offer. Well, that's a quick proceeding. Usually takes less than that hour that we have scheduled for it. I'm looking at different things like what are we scheduling? What type of trial? What's the bond going to be on the trial? Are we going to impanel a jury or not? There's a bunch of things that we're looking at that setting. It's fairly quick, but it's not the final trial.
Mm-hmm.
But you are required by law to be here. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. We'll expect to see you here. Okay.
So so I have to come to the court thing on September the 1st at 1?
September 7th at 1.
Oh, the 7th. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
Yeah, too.
Bye-bye. Mr. Mattson, I don't see anyone else on your docket. You're welcome to remain, but you are free to go. See you this afternoon at our hearing.
Your Honor, I'll actually stick around so I can speak with you after you're finished with your docket.
That's perfectly fine. I'm going to talk to Jennifer Timmons first. And Ms. Timmons, if you could unmute, tell me how you're doing today.
I'm doing better. I've been sick for the past month with tonsillitis, but that's why I rescheduled for today instead of the 19th.
Yes, I remember. I did receive a guilty plea on the possession of drug paraphernalia charge from June 12th. The fines and costs are $286. I also received a guilty plea on the possession of drug paraphernalia charge from June 17th. The fines and costs on that are $286. Are those your pleas today?
Your Honor, I was actually yes, ma'am, but I was actually going to ask for what is it called?
Are you asking for a deferred disposition?
Yes, ma'am. Because I don't have a job, so I really can't, like, I don't have any way.
So those are two different things. Okay.
I know.
Like we don't go like I didn't commit that offense because right now I don't have money, right? Because that's not connected. The deferred request is a request to engage in a process that keeps it off your record. And I'm willing to consider it, okay? But I need you to be really clear that you know what I'm at, what you're asking to do.
What is it called? Instead of doing payments.
So that's a different request. That's for community service. And I look at that I look at your income information and assume that someone would be requesting that if they don't have the ability to pay.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to ask.
Okay, so you're not asking for a deferred, you're asking for community service.
Right.
Okay,
yes, ma'am.
That's not a problem. So just quickly, because and I'm definitely reviewing that and I'm inclined to grant it. July 5th was the date on the forms. And I'm assuming you've been sick. You haven't gained employment since you filled that out because you've been sick. So is that a fair assumption on my part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I will go ahead and declare you indigent and order community service. Okay. And let me get the number for you. That turns into 29 hours of community service and due by September 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it in your community, which is here. You're actually here. The easiest way to deal with this is for you to come up to the court to sign the single document that you need to sign for the case, pick up all your paperwork, read it through, make sure you don't have questions, and then go get it done.
Right.
Can you come up here in the next hour or two?
In Temple?
Well, I have your addresses at Temple. If that's changed, you need to change it with the clerk.
No. So I just go to the municipal court?
Yeah, right, where you came before.
Okay, I believe I can do that.
Okay, what time?
I can be there in 30 minutes to 45 minutes.
Okay, I'll just say by noon.
Okay, thank you.
No later than that, okay? Because it's awfully hot, so don't be walking right now. Unless you have to, but you know, it would be better. And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
the community service, if you read through, there'll be a timesheet to keep track of your hours, written directions that tell you the rules required, and a list of places that's a good starter list because those are all pre-approved. Okay. If you leave the list, make sure it's a nonprofit. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you have any questions right now?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. As always, if you do, ask a clerk and they will get it to me if they cannot answer.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Timmons, excuse me. Feel free to go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just in the meeting. It doesn't relate to the cases that we just